Hello, I'm Jared Patchin here at IWF 2018. I'm at the Surfprep booth with Adam. Adam, we've known each other for a few years. We have some of your sanders, abrasives, all that kind of stuff. I wanted to start talking this morning about your LED inspection lights. We have had the headlight version, I don't know if it's halogen or whatever, but it's like a car headlight version that
it's the old
been out for decades.
The old incandescent 12-volt lights.
Yep.
Like, you know.
And they get hot, they burn out, the transformer goes in and out. We used to have a stick, just smack it, and the light would come back on. You'd have a bank of 4, and at any one time only 2 were working or whatever. So when we saw that, I think it was maybe in Vegas last year that you guys came out with the LED inspection lights, we hopped right on it. So tell us a little bit about why somebody needs an inspection light if they don't already have one, and then why the LED is so much better.
I'm going to show you guys on this box down here the difference between overhead light and angled light. So overhead light fills up the gaps, it fills up the scratch, and it fills up the texture, and it makes it harder to see defects. It's low angle light that makes it easier to see the defects on your product. So the operators not only know where there's a defect, but they know how long to sand to get rid of the defect. They know when to stop. So it can be a much more efficient process if the operator of the sander knows when to stop sanding. And without the light, all they can do is sand and sand and sand until they think it's okay. And they will sand endlessly because they don't know for sure when the scratch is gone.
And hope it's all done.
And hope it's done.
Everything's gone.
And hope they didn't miss a spot, but the LED lights help with this process. We have one set up over here. And you can see on this door, you can see the texture of the surface much better, but then you can see the uneven joints. And then, you know, it's just so much easier for the operator of the sanding on the hand sanding table to tell what's going on. Another thing is when you're wide belt sanding, and as the part is passing through the wide belt, to have one of these lights next to the wide belt table, to the conveyor, allows you to see the scratch pattern coming out of the wide belt. If you hit a nail, or if you have damage on your belt, or if you have shiny spots, or bad scratch, you can see it coming out of your wide belt sander much better.
Oh, that'll show up defects on the belt itself.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you know when to change your abrasive belts.
Okay.
And then having this on the hand sanding table means massively greater efficiency because they can see what they're doing and they know when to stop sanding. And that's a big deal when you're talking about lean manufacturing.
Now, LED is such a better lighting solution for this because it's cool.
Yeah.
You were saying each bulb is going to get you better coverage than, because you have a lot of little bulbs versus a few gigantic ones.
These are called TIR lenses. They're total internal reflection lenses. And that TIR lens casts the light much further than a regular reflector. Also, there's no inclusions. If you see my fingers on the, you can see there's spots where you can't see the light anymore, where my fingers are in the way. Well, on the old incandescent bulbs, they had rippled reflectors on the face to try to spread that light out. But the result is that there are big pockets of light missing on the part. So as you try to inspect your piece, you have to move the part around in the light to be able to see all of the defects. And with this system, you can see it's absolutely flawlessly even all the way across. I usually set these up, this thing about an inch off of the table, and then at as low an angle as I can all the way across the surface, and it just gives a better...
And you just put the deflector on top to keep the operator from being blinded.
Yes,
and you're good.
yes. And when we put these in, I like to remove the lighting above the table, because that lighting above the table is what's hiding the defects. It's not helping to find the defects.
Okay.
So, and then, yeah, this is just very simple, but it's something that keeps the light on the table. If you turn off the lights above, then your eyes are going to dilate more. You're going to see more of the light on the surface, and it's going to focus your attention better on what you're doing.
Okay.
So
now, one last thing. I have pneumatic sanding. Sanders. No dust collection built in because we have downdraft tables.
Yep.
So do I need to look at adding dust collection, or should I have looked at that 4 years ago or 5 years ago when we upgraded to pneumatic sanders?
Some of the downdraft tables work really well. And whether or not you're going to need supplemental dust collection or a vacuum system is really up to you and how much dust is in your air now. If you got an effective downdraft table, then there's really no reason to go with vacuum.
So that's not degrading my sanding quality, because
No.
as it blows away, it's then being sucked away. It's
Yeah.
not just pooling up on the surface.
Yeah, and every time you go over an edge, the disc will throw out the swarth.
Okay.
So, unless you're sanding perfectly flat surfaces, then you'll carry a little bit more swarth with the sander, and you'll be sanding a little bit of dust extra that way.
Okay.
But
But if somebody doesn't have a downdraft table, they really need to look at the dust collection.
Yeah, it's really a nice thing to have a dust collection system like what we have. This is an Air Trident sander with our dust collection port. It's a bayonet style, so it just goes in here and it just hooks in, and then you put the screw in, and then it hooks up. This is just a simple 5-hole setup, but we have a multi-hole pad on there just to show that we have that available. Now, there are some situations, like if I had a Denray table or a downdraft table and I was doing sealer sanding, there are situations where I might actually use a 5-hole pad even though I don't have vacuum on the machine, because the sealer will build up on the center of the disc or the center of the sponge, and having that vacuum helps tremendous, or having the holes in the pad even without the vacuum helps to move along some of that dust. So it can actually be effective even without
dust collection.
Even without dust collection.
Okay.
The fact that the pad is spinning will generate a very mild amount of, and you'll see a cloud following the sander. If you have a Denray table or a downdraft table, it'll pull that through.
So it's actually sucking it out, spitting it out the back, and then the downdraft table takes
It'll be coming out the sides and everything
Okay.
if you don't have vacuum.
Now you said, or maybe I heard, this is adaptable to existing sanders, so you don't have to buy a brand new sander from the ground
Yes,
up.
it's very inexpensive to convert a regular sander over to vacuum.
Okay.
You're just changing the cowling here, and then you're changing this piece here, and then you're ready to go.
Okay.
And this is considered central vacuum. There's also self-generated vacuum. I'm not the biggest fan because a lot of times it just doesn't work nearly as well. This is our vacuum unit, and this automatically turns on when we turn on the sander. Somebody might have turned it off. Yep, somebody turned it off. So that automatically turns on, and it's got a 10-second delay. When you turn it on, it's going to keep sucking to empty out this hose.
Okay.
So it'll keep sucking for 10 full seconds, and then it'll shut back off again.
What do those run roughly, cost-wise?
These are just a little over $1,700.
Okay. And that, obviously, it has to be engineered for the fine dust particles, or else it's going to clog a regular old shot back up.
It has a true HEPA filter on the bottom of this canister, and then it has a bag inside that fills, and you can dump that out and then put the bag back in. This was made for military and aerospace use. If you close that valve on this thing and run it, it won't kill this motor because it's a bypass motor. It'll start sucking air through the fins, but it will bypass, it will not destroy the machine. So if it gets plugged or something happens, you won't ruin it.
Okay.
It's very, very tough. It's very well made. And this is the only vacuum I know of that can run off of electric and air on the same machine and activate off of either.
Oh, you can pneumatically power this, or
Yes.
So you're not just porting the sander into it.
Yeah.
It's actually powering it.
Well, yeah. The electric, it'll power the machine. We have air coming in back here from our supply.
Okay.
So there's no compressor in here for the air, but the air coming in from the supply and then goes through here. When the air pressure in here drops, it triggers it to turn on.
Okay.
But then they also have electric on the same head, which I think is wonderful because you can use electric and air off the same machine simultaneously.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but yeah, it's a great system. We got our little 3x4 and electric right here. And oh, there we go. See how it turns it on, no problem.
Yep.
And it'll do the same 10-second run and then turn back off. It's all that air is coming through. There's a little hole right inside of here.
Right on the side.
Yep. It's powerful.
Well, Adam, thank you
It was very nice to see you again.
All right.